Hey, greetings everyone. Glenn Kellaway from the basement, here with my top picks of the best albums of 2024. Now, these are new releases, uh, not reissues or any of that. I'm going to do something in that vein in another video. Now I only picked up nine, that's five and four, nine uh, albums that were released this year. Studio, well, they're not even studio albums. One of them isn't, but nine albums this year released. So that's what I'm ranking. Is my nine. If you want to see a real extensive list of great albums that were released in 2024, go to Norman Maslov's channel. He's did top 23, put out some really interesting picks there. Turned me on to some stuff. I made notes. Thanks, Mazzy. And also channel The Long Cut. He did his top 10 again. One thing they have in common, which I have in common with them, is they were really high on an album that is really high on my list too. So I was really excited to see that. Anyway, there are a couple albums that I haven't bought that I'm really interested in getting. One I got turned on to just this morning from Norman Maslov's list. And the other one has been on my list because I'm a fan of these artists. One is Woodland Studios by Dave Rawlings and Gillian Welsh. Big fan of both of them. Americana, acoustic music. If you like acoustic music, if you don't know these people, you'd love them. But that's their album from 2024, and I haven't pulled the trigger on it yet. The other one, which I just found out about today and listened to it on Spotify this morning and was blown away by how much I liked it, is an artist by the name of Kim Deal. And the album's called Nobody Loves You More. It's, I don't know how to describe it. It's weird. It starts off like kind of poppy, folky, and all of a sudden it comes in with this brass, these horns and everything that really, it's like they don't fit, but they do. It's just a real contrast, and it really made the album interesting as I listened to the rest of the songs. I really, really love that album. I threw it in my cart at Amazon, so thank you for that one, Mazzy. Anyway, let's get started on my list. First album came out in February this year and is awesome, is this one. Sean Lennon, Asterisms. There it is, Sean Ono Lennon, Asterisms. Freaking amazing album. You know, it's got to be hard growing up in the shadow of a Beatle, especially John Lennon, and trying to forge your own career. And Sean has done a great job of it. He's not a pop artist like his dad. He's a not that John wasn't serious, but he's a serious musician making really great music. This album is an instrumental album with touches of Miles Davis, some proggy stuff. Really super, super record. Sean Lennon, Asterisms. Number 9 on my list. Number 8 on my list, bluegrass album. The great Tony Trischka, one of the great banjo players of all time. Tony put out this album called Earl Jam this year. It is an album inspired by a bunch of tapes that Tony heard of jam sessions taking place at Earl Scruggs' house with John Hartford and a few other people. Earl's wishes were that these tapes would never be released, and so Tony respected that wish, and what he did was pick the songs that he really dug that they played at the jam sessions, and then he did his versions of them, and it says he tried to keep it pretty close to what he was hearing on the tapes. But fantastic stuff with some great guest artists like Billy Strings, Sierra Farrell, who I'm a big fan of. That's another artist that I haven't pulled the trigger on an album yet, but lots of great stuff on this. Tony Trischka, Earl Jam. Love that album. Number 8. Number 7. One of my favorite guitar players, Steve Hackett, put out a great album called The Circus and the Night Whale. I really dig this album. Is it his best album? No. But it's still pretty good, and when I put it on, I really like every song and every track. And it's, if you like Steve Hackett, I can't see why you wouldn't like this album. So, number 7 on my list, Steve Hackett. Number 6. This really was the year of Billy Strings for me. This is the only live album on my list, which he put out earlier this year. Billy Strings, Volume 1. This just is mind-blowing good. The guitar playing on this album, every member of the band is awesome, but his guitar playing is just incredible. I'm just freaking even got my Billy Strings hat on. Uh, few long jammy tracks, 17, 18 minutes long. So if you're into the jam band thing, you really dig it. And a couple of shorter bluegrassy types things, but frick, oh, amazing. 1, 2, 3, 4, top 5. Interesting band from Saskatchewan, Canada. The Dead South. Chains and Stakes. This is Tex-Mex meets bluegrass music. I don't know how they do it, but they add like a Tex-Mex flavor to bluegrass instruments. The writing is really interesting. The playing is really interesting. These guys are awesome. The Dead South. You got to check this album out. Chains and Stakes. Fantastic stuff. Number 5 on my list. Number 4 on my list. Back to Billy Strings, the studio album he released just 2-3 months ago. Highway Prayers. Oh, incredible album. The next one's all could be number 1. Love this album. Double album. I'm getting the vinyl for Christmas from Santa, so got to show the CD for now. That's the other thing is I got a few CDs and a few pieces of vinyl, but I know everybody likes to show vinyl, and I wish I could afford to have all these on vinyl, but I don't, and I can't. So anyway, Highway Prayers, highly recommend it. Number 5. Number 4, that is. Number 3, album that just blew me away. Again, could be number 1. John Anderson and the band Geek, True. Oh, I thought John Anderson was just kind of, had his time. I thought he was just done, and he comes out with this album that would compete with the great albums in the Yes catalog. It's so good, and every listen, the first listen, you go, "That's a pretty good album." By the time you've listened to this 3 or 4 times, you're going, "This is a freaking great album," and it is a great album. John Anderson, True, fantastic. Number 2. This is the album that both the Long Cut and Mazzy, I'm not going to tell you where he ranked them because I want you to watch their videos. But I love this album too. I don't know who turned me on to this. One of my viewers mentioned it in a comment, and I listened to it and went, "Wow, this is cruel." Adrianne Lenker, her name is. I'll put that up there. Maybe you can see if you want to read it. Adrianne Lenker. Fantastic record. Bright Future, it's called. And I got to get this on vinyl. So the songs are, it's recorded in her living room. And it has that really intimate, you can hear it. That's just how relaxed and everything it is. The musicians and everything. It sounds really cool. The lyrics can be dark in some songs. Very folky, I guess. Americana, rootsy stuff, but just a brilliant, brilliant album. Adrianne Lenker is incredible album. Number 1 on my list, I've been calling this the number 1 album from the moment it came out in, I don't know, was it January, February? And it's also the best album cover of the year. I'm just going to get this out of the plastic here so I can show it better. But Béla Fleck's Rhapsody in Blue. This album is absolutely incredible. It's a masterpiece. Béla took 3 years. Now the Gershwin song Rhapsody in Blue is celebrating its 100th anniversary. And I think Béla was asked to do something with it, and he ended up making a whole album based around the melody. He does one of the songs very true to the song with the Virginia Symphony Orchestra, which is absolutely beautiful. But 3 years in creating this, and it is a masterpiece. I mean, this man is, I know he plays a banjo, and people don't like banjos, but I'm telling you, this is one of the greatest musicians on the planet, and this album is absolutely incredible. all the wording and everything, what's going on. It's on a beautiful blue vinyl, but this album has been targeted as my #1 album of the year. One of the, it's just, like I said, it's a masterpiece. Unbelievable. That's my list. Kind of short. I wish I had more albums from this year, but that's what I got. And I'm going to come back and do some of the reissues and just some of my favorite purchases and some of the stuff that came out this year and chat a bit about the year in general, I guess, coming up soon. And that's it. Let me know some albums that you think I should check out that came out this year. Have a great day, everybody.